Okay, I'm gonna leave that part in. So, guys, we're talking about PayPal. PayPal has banned Gab from, well, PayPal. So yeah, obviously, guys, you probably hear Satellite of Discontent is actually in the chat with us once again. Welcome to the land of the living.
G'day.
And been awake. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, man. I'm very good. So we're going to go through. We're going to talk about PayPal banning Gab from their service. We're going to break it all down, and then basically go through and let you guys know what our thoughts are on it. So this won't be like the first video that I've done earlier. It is related to it, but it's going to be a little bit more informal. So let's jump straight into it. So earlier today, a gunman walked into the Tree of Life synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and killed 11 people before being apprehended by police. The suspect has been identified as a 26-year-old Robert Bowers, who appeared to have a history of anti-Semitic speech on the social network Gab. Now, following these revelations, PayPal banned the site from its payment platform, the latest action taken against troublesome social network by a major tech company. In a statement to The Verge, PayPal spokesman confirmed the ban, citing hate speech as the reason for action. The company is diligent in performing reviews and taking account actions when a site is explicitly allowing the perpetration of hate, violence, or discrimination, intolerance. We take immediate and decisive action. So, almost immediately after the shooter's identity was revealed by media outlets, screenshots of his profile on Gab appeared, revealing a slew of anti-Semitic rants. Gab released a statement on Medium. I will obviously bring that up right now as well, saying that it unequivocally disavows and condemns all actions of terrorism and violence, but has long been welcome of hate speech on its platform. Well, no, it's not hate speech, it's just freedom of speech. It says that the conduct law enforcement officials, after it notified that Bowers had a profile on the site, it turned over relevant information to them before suspending his account. PayPal is the latest major platform to boot Gab. Apple has refused to host the site's app in its iOS store in August 2017. Google removed the app from Google Play Store for violating the company's hate speech policy, while Microsoft threatened to stop hosting the site after a pair of anti-Semitic posts were published on the site in July of this year. With PayPal's reconfiguration of its service, I could probably get that wrong, Gab could be deprived of a major revenue conduit. Since PayPal's actions, Gab's Twitter feed has struck out at Facebook and Twitter, saying that it doesn't allow terrorism on our platform and dismissed the idea that rhetoric on its platform translates into real-world violence. But researchers have found that anti-Semitic messaging on online platforms is on the rise, and the attempt bombing of a prominent Trump critics in the past week has put a spotlight on the role that online rhetoric has played in recent months, years, and weeks. So, I have a little bit to say about this, and then we'll get into the discussion. Free speech is that it's free speech. You don't have to like what the person is saying, but that is freedom of speech. I wouldn't go calling these attempted bombings, because even at the end of the day, these bombs, presuming that this guy is who they're saying he is, and there's big question marks around that. But I was going to say, but at the end of the day, they weren't ever going to explode. These bombs were completely harmless. They were a scare tactic. So calling them attempted bombings is a little bit disingenuous. And it wasn't prominent. Yeah, and it wasn't prominent Trump critics. It was, like, for example, Jim Carrey is a prominent Trump critic. How come Jim Carrey hasn't got bombs in the mail? Or other people that have criticized Trump? Why have they not got bombs? Why is it only the establishment Democrats that have got these bombs in the mail? So, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, apart from that, what are your thoughts on this, man? And then we'll have a discussion about it.
Yeah, so I'm not the kind of person that would hold a platform or a person responsible for what someone else would do.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, we were just talking about like a particular guy who does a stream who
Mm.
goes, it would be unfortunate for this to happen, or here's this, and
Yeah,
you can click a dislike button or something.
yeah,
There's that, and then there's like, for example, holding Ben Shapiro responsible for something his audience does.
yeah,
Um, I mean, if you are dog whistling in a very specific way to get a certain effect,
mm.
I guess I can point the finger at the guy. But I mean, this is a platform, right? So it's not even a person specifically. Now,
Exactly.
just because there's a few crazies
Yeah,
who are maybe actually inciting violence on Gap, they could be true, or they're organizing in the DMs. I mean, if that's true, then you would prosecute the persons doing it, not the platform. And you wouldn't persecute the platform by cutting off its PayPal.
yeah. So okay, so
That's sort of my opinion there.
there's a bit to unpack on that. So look, at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is that, for example, Facebook has allowed extremists to be on their platform. Um,
Yeah.
so at the end of the day, when you turn around and say, for example, Gab has to lose its payment service because, hey, they had an extremist on there. Okay, what about Twitter that has literally verified Antifa accounts, or Facebook that has
Yeah.
Antifa accounts? They are on the other side of the spectrum. They are terrorists. So,
Yeah, like
do you
I
go after
don't
them?
see payment. I'm not seeing payment processors go after LiveLeak. I'm not seeing them go after YouTube. I
Mm.
mean, people have done streams on YouTube killing themselves, or they've done streams on there, like, so for example, like you've had people kill themselves, or you have Al Qaeda putting up videos where they're taking, people and shooting them
Yeah,
on LiveLeak and YouTube.
yeah,
And it's surfaced on Facebook as well.
yeah,
I mean, are we going to cut off these platforms?
yeah. Or Twitter, for example. And that's the thing. At the end
I
of the
mean,
day, sorry.
yeah, like I mean, they've been making articles to get YouTube to take away the monetization. They've been saying that they need to cancel the whole super chat program
Mm.
because it's literally funding right-wing extremists, apparently.
Well, we know why they want to go after super chats. They want to go after super chats because at the end of the day, it's profitable for the YouTubers, and hopefully, if you can go through and remove the incentive for YouTubers to go through, they will stop making YouTube videos. Alternative media will collapse, and mainstream media will become relevant again. That is my theory on that. Anyway, but what I was going to say was that
I agree.
yeah. So, but that's another story for another day. But and that's what I say. Look, at the end of the day, you just have to look at, like I say, Facebook has extremists on their page. Do we now go through and say to PayPal, hey, Facebook has an extremist on their page. Look at this. I want you to remove their payment processor. Is PayPal going to ban Facebook? And if they don't, then it's not a case of, per se, you have extremists, so we're going to ban you. It's more a case of Gab is a competitor to our friend Jack Dorsey, who runs Twitter, and we're just going to use this as an excuse to go after Gab, which is what I really think this is all about. This to me sounds like it's more of a fact of, hey, Gab is actually doing really, really well. We can't have this. We've tried to remove it from the Google Play Store. Well, we have removed it from the Google Play and the iTunes Store. People are still managing to frigging use this website. We've tried to go after it with Microsoft. That didn't work. But hey, there was a guy on there posting anti-Semitic stuff. Hey, we can get PayPal to ban them or to stop them from using their service. And hopefully that'll nip Gab in the butt. And that's what I think this is all about. That this is more about, you're not with us. You're against our ideology, and therefore this is an excuse.
And the other thing, I suppose, and it sounds conspiratorial, but this synagogue shooting happens pretty much around the same time that the pipe bomb guy, you know?
Yeah.
And and I start to wonder if this is part of something that they're doing false flags.
Well, yeah, I've actually. So you went in the first video, but I've actually said that. I said that. Look, the synagogue shooter. Do I think he was legit? Yeah, I think he was legit. I think this was real. But
the people pipe bomb die in these false flags.
Yeah, I don't think the CIA or anything like that, the NSA or anything like that, put him up to it per se. I would say that this synagogue shooter just didn't care about midterms, doesn't care about Trump or Democrats or anything like that, and he's just selfish. He just wanted to go through and do what he wanted to do because he could.
Can I throw something crazy out there?
Sure.
He may have been MK Ultra'd as well to do the shooting.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Look, if you're going to make that argument for the pipe bomber, then I would say that's more likely. I think this guy, the synagogue shooter, just really didn't like Jews.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway. But like I say, that was the previous story anyway. But yeah, as for this Gab thing, this to me, this is more about Gab being a target because it's a rival to Twitter. It's a rival to Jack Dorsey. It's a rival to their power, and it's a rival to their little niche collective that that stops them from going through and pushing their agenda. And we've already seen too, and this is another thing too. We've had 2 years of censorship, and the shit out there is getting worse. At some point you must sit there and think, holy shit, we're censoring people online. It's forcing people to go into these niche little areas or whatever it may be, or to go through and to make their own little groups. Echo chambers. Yeah, and therefore they're not being... It's making people worse.
Yeah, it's like taking a criminal and then you put him in jail with other criminals. It just makes them better criminals.
Yeah.
You put a bunch of crazies into a alternative platform where they all just feed off each other's craziness.
Yeah.
If you let them stay on Twitter and Facebook, at least they'd be going up against people who oppose them as well as agree with them.
And this is the one thing. Look, I love Gab. I have some issues with Gab, but I'll talk about that in another video. But at the end of the day, the biggest problem that I have with Gab, or one of the biggest problems I have with Gab, is the fact that it is very much, it's not an echo chamber, but that there really is a shortage of leftists on there. The reason I still have a Twitter account is because I love trolling people on Twitter. I can't do that on Gab. Me too. Like literally my Twitter account is just for trolling, pretty much. That's it. So
yeah, just be careful how far you go, or they'll kick you off.
Yeah, well, that's true too. But I don't get much engagement with my videos that I post on Twitter anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. But what I was going to say was, at the end of the day, maybe if there had been a few more leftists on Twitter, or this synagogue shooter, if he had been left on Twitter, Gab. But if he had been left on Twitter and, he had people to confront his views, maybe it might have grounded him a little bit. Who knows? There's definitely an argument to make when you take people out of their, quote, echo chambers and, I don't know. Because
alternative platforms probably have helped along the bipartisanship that's going on. I can agree with that sentiment, yeah.
Yeah. So, the moral of the story, I suppose, is if you're a leftist and you're not on Gab, go and join it. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, guys, I don't know, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think that this is them attacking Gab just because of the fact that it's a rival to Twitter? Do you think this is more about them trying to knock Gab down because they're worried about the amount of people that have joined it? There's over 800,000 people on there now. Or do you think they went after Gab because of this hate speech and they're not really worried about, or what? And how do you explain Facebook and Twitter? Yeah, do you think that echo chambers, for example, Gab going through and having a predominantly centrist and right-leaning sections, do you think that does aid in building these echo chambers? Do you think that this shooter, for example, would have been more grounded if he had stayed on Twitter? If he had the left and that constantly confronting him regarding his views? Do you think that these sort of echo chambers and that make a difference? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack a like. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great night and enjoy.